My neighbor's brother and I have been betrothed since we were kids. Good thing he didn't take it seriously, and neither did I. So we helped each other out. I helped him send love letters to girls, and he covered for me in my relationship. We have not been able to rub the spark of love for more than 20 years. Until one morning, I woke up from his bed in a strange way. He wrapped the quilt, wrapped himself into a dumpling, innocently looking at me, looking pathetic. The person who had never called me sister in a million years suddenly dragged a sour tone of voice and called out to me, "Sister, what the hell did you do to me?" 6 months after graduation, I stood in the guidance office again as a parent. The dean of instruction, serious as ever, surveyed me through the top rims of his glasses. "You're so young, and you're Liam's parent?" I tried to maintain my best smile. "I'm Liam's older sister." "Liam's in love early, so I'd better call your parents." "Didn't Aunt Lisa say that Liam's parents were called because of his bad grades? How come it's early love?" I looked back at Liam, who was leaning against the wall, his school uniform loosely covering his body, with a disinterested look on his face. Next to him stood a little girl with a ponytail, looking at me timidly. "Kenna, my little brother, all arched a cabbage." "The little girl is very pretty, and looks familiar. Liam's eyes are not bad." I raised my eyebrows at Liam, revealing an old fatherly smile of relief. Liam swept a glance at me, then skimmed his head in a cool manner. "Still tugging at me, I still have to help you in critical moments. Director, I'll go back and talk to Mom and Dad and educate Liam properly, so that he can keep his mind on his studies." I tried my best to maintain a parent's attitude. The director stared at me for a while, and finally gave up on calling Liam's parents over. "There are still half a year to go before the college entrance exam. Emma is a good seedling in our school. Liam's hard work to get into a first class is also hopeful. You parents need to guide him well," he said. Yes, we will definitely guide you well." I nodded my head and promised, and finally brought Liam out under the guidance of the head teacher. After leaving the school, my parent persona couldn't hold on any longer. I stood on my tiptoes and grabbed him by the shoulders. "You're not interesting enough, you're in love and you didn't even tell me. Luckily, I'm the one who's here today, but you'd be in deep shit if it was Aunt Lisa." "I'm not in love with her," Liam said in a flat tone. I stumbled on my feet and looked at him with amusement. "Liam, why are you hiding this from me? It's not like I'm going to rat on you to Aunt Lisa." "I'm really not," Liam explained to me with a serious face. Fine, if you say you didn't, then you didn't." I patted him on the shoulder and urged him like an elder, "But it's almost time for the college entrance exams, so you'd better concentrate more on your studies and wait for other things after the exams." "Amanda, why are you nagging like my mom?" I twisted his arm angrily. "Sis, I just fished you out and you're just being rude. I'm only a few months older than Liam. I was told that on the day I was born, my father wasn't at home, so Aunt Lisa and Uncle Tom from next door took my mom to the hospital. On the way, Aunt Lisa had a fall and suffered from abdominal pains, and the doctor found out that she was pregnant. My mom and Aunt Lisa felt a special bond, and immediately decided that if Aunt Lisa gave birth to a boy, we would have a baby wedding. As expected, my baby was born a few months later. However, we did not take this doll marriage seriously. Since childhood I have been committed to let Liam obediently call me sister, but he is a dead duck. No matter how I coerced and enticed him, refused. Sophia, my high school classmate, said something like, "If you don't call me sister, you're a little wild at heart." I don't think he's a little wild at heart, he's a wild, disobedient person. Right now, for example, he's not happy with my lectures. When I was a senior in high school, I was almost caught walking hand in hand with the captain of the basketball team, and I don't know who helped me cover for him. Good boy, revealing my old secrets, then don't blame me for not being polite. In return, I helped someone deliver love letters to a girl. If I remember correctly, it was this girl today, right? Liam frowned and stared at me, seemingly unable to defend himself. He turned his head and stormed into the house in a huff. I smiled smugly. He had never won an argument with me since I was a kid. The next morning, I was sleeping soundly when I was suddenly awakened by a sharp knock on the door. I sleepily opened the door to see Liam standing in front of my door, holding a stack of books. "What brings you here?" I yawned twice in a row. "Looking for your tutoring." I turned my head to look at the wall clock. "It's not even 7 o'clock yet, big brother. Didn't you tell me to study hard?" Liam was so righteous. Was it because of what I said yesterday? No, 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 definitely not. Oh, I said with a knowing look on my face, yesterday, the director said that Emma's grades were good, so you're doing well for love. Whatever you think. Liam brushed me off and walked quickly through the door. Liam was smart, he knew what he was talking about, and it was easy to give him a lecture. Liam, what college do you want to go to? How about Stanford University? Liam asked me, looking up from his textbook. Stanford University is my school, I didn't think you would want to go to my school. Stanford University is great, we can hang out again when you're here, I said as I got up and went to the fridge. To get 2 cans of Coke and put them in front of him. I smiled wryly, what about Emma, does she want to go to Stanford University too? What does it matter to me where she goes? Liam's tone was impatient, holding the can of Coke with one hand, his fingers slightly pressed hard and opened it with a bang, startling me. Aunt Lisa and Uncle Tom are both very gentle people, I don't know who Liam's twisted personality follows. Emma seems to be weak, it's not easy for her to put up with his eccentric temper. Liam officially runs to my house every day after winter break, with books in his arms. Before he got bored of learning, I got bored first. Liam, why don't I take you out? My high school classmates organized a game, and Sophia asked me to go with her. No, I have to study. Liam didn't even look up, the pen in his hand was rapidly doing math on the paper. But Liam was studying at my house, how could my mom allow me to go out and play? Regardless, I dragged him straight up from his chair and took him away. You need to combine work and rest, don't study stupidly. In the cafeteria, I thought all the people who came were from our class, but I didn't realize there were some other people from the same class, including Ryan, the captain of the basketball team, as Liam said. There was a girl standing beside Ryan, holding his arm intimately. Wasn't this the class president of the liberal arts class, and when did they get together? The onlookers were quite amused by the 3 of us appearing on the same screen. After all, I had chased Ryan with great fanfare back in the day. I went to all Ryan's matches, bought him water and handed him tissues. And Ryan started responding to me gradually, and just when I thought we were together, I heard him talking to a friend. I'm not in a relationship with her, Amanda's a pain in the ass, she's like a dog's footwear, I can't get rid of her, I'm sick of her. I was so blind that I immediately deleted all Ryan's contact information. Liam laughed at me for a long time for this, saying that I had a bad eye. In the eyes of my classmates, Ryan was in love with the class girl, but I was the one who couldn't get it up. Everyone's eyes flicked back and forth to me, teasing me. I reached out and wrapped my hand around Liam's arm. Let me introduce you all, this is my boyfriend Liam. I pinched the soft flesh of Liam's back and whispered a warning in his ear. Don't say anything, or I'll tell Aunt Lisa you're in love. The corner of Liam's mouth lifted and he drew his arm straight out to wrap it around my shoulder and greeted me graciously. Hello guys. Good to see you, young man. Isn't Liam your childhood friend? When did he become your boyfriend? The girl who said this has been at odds with me since we were kids, but she went to the same school as me in elementary, middle, and high school, so she knows everything about me. Liam and I are baby mates, everyone on the other side is just playing around, we're meant to be together. I glanced over at Ryan absently as I said this, and he was a little afraid to look at me directly. Seeing that I wasn't alone, everyone finally stopped staring at me and went to gossiping about Ryan and the class flower. I let out a sigh of relief and stared at the prawn cassoulet in front of me. I've loved shrimp since I was a kid, but I'm too dirty to peel them. Liam chucked 2 prawns on his plate and peeled them in 3 tries and placed them in my bowl. It was my best brother who knew me best, and I winked at him gratefully, and he curled his mouth in a rare gesture. Sophia sits next to me watching the 2 of us interact and pulls me to her with a gossipy look on her face. You really with Liam together, I have long said let you handle Liam you do not listen, Liam not then Ryan handsome much, to you and good. I quickly covered Sophia's mouth, her voice is too loud, said as if I have a long time to Liam have attempts. I don't know if Liam heard me, he seems to be in a good mood, the corner of his mouth has been holding a seemingly smile, from time to time to help me clip food and pour drinks. With our years of tacit understanding, we didn't let anyone find out that we were a fake couple. After dinner, we proposed to go to KTV to continue the party. As the only 2 couples present, everyone's attention was on us. Ryan and the flower of the class sang A Little Bit Sweet, and everyone immediately asked Liam and I to sing a song as well. It's just that I'm naturally tone deaf, but Liam sings beautifully. I inquired in a low voice, what to sing. You name it, I'm good for anything. I slid through the list of songs, there wasn't a single one I could sing that wasn't out of tune, and finally with a twitch of my finger, I clicked on a song straight away. Before I had a chance to look at the song title, the familiar Mr. Lu Huan already appeared on the screen. This song I happen to be not out of tune I confidently picked up the microphone and sang. The great river flows eastward, the stars in the sky participate in the Big Dipper. As soon as I opened my mouth, the whole box fell silent, and Liam stared at me in disbelief. The road is full of violence, when it's time to strike, strike when it's time to strike, the wind and the fire breaks through the 9 states. Was I singing too hard? Why did everyone look stunned? Liam held the microphone but didn't sing, leaving me alone and humiliated. I raised my hand and whacked him hard on the chest. He reacted quickly, and immediately sang, hey ee, hey ee. Liam sang the song in a serious manner, how to look at how funny. Liam's voice is very good, a good Han song lit up the whole room, and finally the whole room directly chorus. On the way back, I was happily gossiping with Liam, but he always looked like he wanted to say something. I couldn't help but stop and ask him what was wrong. You remembered our baby shower. Oh, that's what he said. Of course I remember, when I was little, my mom used to call you Jean Jin's son-in-law, and you were so ashamed that you didn't dare to come to our house for a while. Liam looked down and smiled as if he remembered the old days. If I were you, I'd say we shouldn't have a baby marriage. I patted Liam's shoulder and said more and more vigorously, how about this, from now on, you call me big brother, I call you second brother. I looked at Liam with anticipation, expecting him to call me big brother. But Liam's face was filled with the word, speechless, I don't want to be your brother. Hey, you little heartless bastard, have I been treating you badly since you were little? I grabbed Liam by the ear, from helping him fight with the dog when he was little and being chased by the dog for 2 kilometers, to me hiding a piece of cake for a week in order to share it with him, and then forcing him to eat it. Liam didn't continue to fight with me, kicking the gravel on the side of the road as he walked, looking preoccupied. Amanda, there's something I want to talk to you about after the entrance exams. Aunt Lisa took Liam's iPhone after school started and we didn't have much contact until his senior year. That's why I haven't told him that I've been with the senior of the student council's sports department. After the entrance exam, Liam got into Stanford University as he wanted to. My mom seemed happier than Liam and secretly and explicitly asked me to develop a relationship with Liam. My boyfriend asked me to go on a trip with him after summer vacation, but I didn't know what to tell my mom. She's so happy with Liam that if she knew I had a boyfriend and was going on a trip with him, my mom would break my legs. How could I go? I turned to Liam. Liam, let's go on a trip. I asked tentatively as Liam and I sat on the couch playing a game. Just the 2 of us? And one of my college roommates. I'm sorry I lied. If Liam knew it was with my boyfriend, he wouldn't want to be the light bulb. I watched his expression carefully, he didn't take his eyes off the game screen and casually agreed, yeah, I can keep you guys safe. Liam, you're too kind. I was so excited that I flew straight over to hug Liam, he subconsciously dodged back, I pounced and knocked my mouth on his chin. His jawline was beautiful, but it really hurt. My lips were broken by the teeth, and I tasted the fishy sweet flavor. I just wanted to blame him for hiding, only to see that he looked as if he was a bit unnatural. Liam, why are your ears so red? He bounced up off the couch and reflexively touched his ear, ahem, it's a little hot. After saying that, he quickly slipped into the restroom. When my mom and Aunt Lisa found out we were going on a trip, they threw their hands up in the air and were so happy to see us go. I could see my mom wanting to marry me off to Liam the very next second. Liam was very jovial along the way, snapping pictures of the scenery out the car window with his iPhone from time to time. His good mood continued until we arrived at the promised city and met my roommate as I called him. Hello, brother Liam. Ethan, my boyfriend, greeted Liam warmly. Liam looked at our folded hands and his face was appallingly cold. Amanda, is this your college roommate? Liam's tone was unusually calm, but I knew the anger hidden underneath that calmness. I'm sorry Liam, my mom wouldn't let me hang out without you. I apologized weakly, bowing my head as I shrank behind Ethan. Liam laughed softly and tilted his head slightly, as if there was a hint of sadness in his eyes. So I'm a front for you, am I? No, haven't we always helped each other out like this before? Help each other out, Liam nodded. Then my job is done, you guys have fun, I'm going. Liam turned and walked away as fast as he could. I was panting after him. Liam, don't be mad, I'll never use you again. I shouted as I chased after him. As I chased him across the road, a battery car brushed against me and I was brought down to the ground. I cried out in pain and Liam turned around at the sound. Seeing Ethan rushing up to help me, he turned his head and marched into the station. It was hot in the middle of summer, so Ethan took me to the cafe for a drink and to help me with my wounds. I clutched my iPhone and sent Liam a Facebook Messenger apology line by line, yet he didn't respond at all. I'm going home. I snapped. Liam's too old for anything to happen. I bounced out of the cafe, ignoring Ethan, when my iPhone suddenly vibrated. Where are you? Liam's tone was cold and I sent him the location on the fly. Wait where you are. Liam, does the fact that you're willing to come back mean you're not mad? I cheekily tried to lighten the mood, only to be interrupted by Liam's stern voice. I'm afraid Auntie Chan will think I sold you out. Hey, I knew Liam was a tough talker with a soft heart. We've had countless fights since we were kids, but there's never been a bad blood between us. It was already dark when Liam came back and I smiled and poured him water to please him. He glanced at my leg and said in a light tone, "Is it okay?" "It's fine." I smiled so hard, my face froze. After a long day, we decided to find a hotel to stay in. Ethan booked 2 rooms and handed one of the cards to Liam at the elevator door. Liam frowned. Amanda and I haven't slept in the same bed in 20 years, it's not appropriate, is it? Ethan froze and was about to open his mouth to explain, I'm with her. You and her are even more inappropriate, aren't you? Liam's tone was a little fierce. He stared at me for a split second and I blushed in embarrassment. What the hell, I wasn't even planning on sleeping in the same room as Ethan, okay? She's a terrible sleeper, she's prone to hitting people, let her sleep in her own room. I didn't wait for my reaction, but he swiped open the door and pushed me right in. Before school started, Aunt Lisa asked me to help take care of Liam, and since Ethan and Liam were getting along pretty well after the last trip, I'd call them up for dinner from time to time. After a few times, Liam felt awkward and would always decline, and Ethan also raised objections. There's a girl in our gym department who likes Liam, why don't we help set them up? Ethan cut up a plate of steak and put it in front of me. Liam never discusses relationships with me, and I don't know much about him and Emma. Is that okay? Liam was raised to not like people meddling in his affairs. I think as I bite on my straw. You're his sister, it's always right to care about him. Besides, we're just setting him up. We can be friends if we don't work out. I heard that last time Liam refused to have dinner with us, he had a date with a schoolgirl. I was persuaded by Ethan. Liam has been acting like a stranger, but it seems that there is something going on between him and the schoolgirl. I should help him out. Ethan organized a departmental reunion to Yellowstone National Park over the weekend, and asked Liam and me to join him. Luna, Ethan's schoolmate, was not the least bit delicate, and was carrying a case of drinks by herself, walking shakily. When the opportunity presented itself, I nudged Liam's arm. Why don't you go give her a hand? Liam, without question, stepped forward to help. The two of them nodded and smiled at each other, clearly a good match. I began to create opportunities for them to be alone, and the other students were very good at playing along. We all set up the grill. Liam's chicken wings were especially good, and I decided to push Liam out to grill the meat. Luna, why don't you go grill with Liam? We've got enough people skewering meat on our side. Luna chirps like a little sparrow, surrounding Liam, passing things around and fanning his smoke. Liam doesn't talk much, but he seems to be smiling. Liam was a man who hated noise, and if he didn't like it, he wouldn't have allowed Luna to swarm around him. I felt a little proud of myself for doing the right thing this time. I was about to get all misty-eyed when Liam finally served the chicken wings. Luna, try Liam's handiwork, he bakes the best wings. I said as I was about to reach for the wings, but Liam was one step ahead of me and shoved the plate directly into Luna's hands. You can have them all. I froze on the spot, and it was only after the other students immediately made a loud noise that I reacted. I laughed and teased him, don't be so biased. Liam didn't have a smile on his face and whispered to me, come here for a second. What's going on? Liam's face doesn't look quite right, did I just say too much? I followed him to the side and stood under a tree. You want to introduce me to your girlfriend? Liam said bluntly. He saw right through me and I hemmed and hawed, "Luna's cute. It's good to get to know people so you don't have to hang out with just me and Ethan." "So you think I'm in your way?" Liam's brow furrowed and he suddenly snapped. I panicked. "Liam, it's not like that. Ethan said you and Luna were close, so I just went along with it and set you up. I've only met Luna once, where did I get off being on good terms?" Liam didn't believe me and stubbornly misinterpreted what I was saying. "I can avoid suspicion if you think I'm interfering with your relationship. Liam and I have never had a bad fight, I've never seen him this angry. It's really not like that." I was so anxious that my voice was tinged with tears, and Liam's voice softened as he realized how flustered I was. "I have someone I like, don't bother." I nodded vigorously and stood there twiddling my thumbs, not knowing what to do. Ethan followed me at some point and rushed right up to me, shielding me. "Liam, your sister cares about you too." "She's not my sister." Liam and Ethan stare at each other, swords drawn. With that said, Liam took a long leg and turned his head away. Since that day of disagreement, Liam started avoiding me. Still, from Luna's mouth, I found out what he's been up to. He recently organized a team to participate in an AI competition, and he's been so busy that he's been working around the clock. Luna's confession failed, just like what she told me last time. Liam has a crush on someone. Liam doesn't have many friends, so I'm guessing the person he likes is still Emma. When I think of Liam's angry and hurt expression that day, I have some mixed feelings in my heart. Ethan, on the other hand, seemed happy and often asked me out, but I was always uninterested. They say no girl can walk away from her boyfriend's iPhone with a smile on her face, and I was no exception. The reason for this was that Ethan and I went to eat at a new Netflix couples hit restaurant. Ethan tasted the duck with sauce and said casually, "This duck isn't as good as the last time I made it." Last time? He came to this couple's restaurant with someone else? Realizing he'd slipped up, his eyes flashed with panic and he filled my drink cup, pretending as if nothing had happened. I pretended not to hear him, but once the seed of suspicion was planted, it took root in my heart. Finally, during a movie, I excused myself to go to the bathroom and purposely took his iPhone by mistake in the dark. I had peeked at his password and unlocked the iPhone on the fly. His ambiguous chat dialogue box with Isabella, another schoolmate in the department, was lying in his list, and those words "good boy" and "baby" stung my eyes. Ethan was probably a thief and waited at the door of the restroom. When he saw me come out, he pretended to be concerned and greeted me with, "What took you so long?" His hypocritical face was disgusting. I dodged his touch in disgust and smashed my iPhone on him. "Ethan, you and Isabella are disgusting." I didn't expect Ethan to be so calm after the scandal was revealed. He bent down to pick up the iPhone and spoke with a smile on his face. "It's just a spare tire. Why are you so excited? Don't you have one too?" "What do you mean? Isn't Liam your spare tire?" "Ethan, you're shameless." My voice was trembling with excitement. "Liam is my brother." "Brother?" Ethan had a playful smile on his face. "Are you two related by blood? How about a childhood friend? Last time I asked you to introduce him to a girlfriend and you didn't even want to do it. Do you dare to say that you don't have anything? I'm afraid you've done everything you should or shouldn't have done." Ethan's words stabbed me in the heart. I've never seen such a cheeky person. Not only did he not feel the slightest bit guilty, but he also reversed the right and wrong, and pushed the fault onto me. I was so angry that I was trembling, clenched fists, nails about to poke into the flesh. I no longer wanted to tangle with this kind of person. Nasty people really look at everything nasty. "Amanda, we're kind of even, I don't owe you anything." Ethan swaggered away, leaving me standing frozen in place for a long time. I was so bored that I wanted to talk to someone. Normally, I would have yelled at Liam for hundreds of rounds, but Liam had been ignoring me for a long time. In the bar, the lights were flickering and I was sitting alone in the corner waiting for Sophia. There were 2 empty beers on the table, but I was waiting for Liam. "Don't drink it." Liam takes the glass out of my hand with a grimace and leans in to sit next to me. He had dark circles under his eyes and looked tired. "Drink with me." I filled my glass and shoved it into his hand. I rambled on about my past with Ethan, sighing at my bad luck. From Ryan to Ethan, the men I met were all worse than each other. Liam just listened quietly, pouring one glass of wine after another, and a large portion of the wine on the table ended up in his stomach. The more I drank, the more sober I became, the more I talked. I staggered to my feet, bottle in hand. "What's so great about him, Ethan? I wouldn't have liked him if I hadn't seen him with four-pack abs in the first place. I tilted my head back and took a gulp of my drink as Liam staggered to his feet next to me, gradually edging closer to me. "What are you doing?" I step back and end up sitting on my ass on the couch. Liam's face is scarlet and his eyes are wet from the alcohol. This guy can't be drunk, can he? He's never had a drink in front of me before. Is he that bad of a drinker? Liam propped one hand on the backrest of the couch and looked down at me, catching my wrist with his other hand. He takes my hand and places it on his stomach, rubbing it gently through his shirt. My fingers touched the hard roll of the angles and I couldn't help but blush, the wine coming up and straining my breathing a little. He opens his mouth and exhales a slight alcoholic breath. "I have 2 more abs than he does, will you consider me?" Liam was afraid that I was upset about my loss and was there for me as much as he could, but he didn't realize that right now he was the one causing me the most anxiety. What did he mean the other day when he said he wanted me to think about him? Had he been drunk and mistaken me for someone he liked? Liam sat across the table looking through the menu thoughtfully as I fidgeted with my cup in my hands. "Oh, Liam, do you have a girlfriend?" I asked tentatively. Liam raised his eyes from the menu to look at me and raised his eyebrows slightly. "What's the matter? Want to introduce me to another one?" No. I shook my head like a rattle. "Right, you said you had a crush on someone earlier. Who is it?" I tried to make it seem like a casual question. "I bought 2 tickets to Santa Barbara to take you out on the 11th. Liam caught me off guard and sidetracked the conversation. It was Santa Barbara, which I had wanted to go to for a long time, and I was instantly excited. "It's very expensive. Where did you get the money?" "The prize money from the last AI competition, and my mom heard you were in a bad mood, so she kindly sponsored some, and asked me to make sure you were happy. Aunt Lisa is so nice." I smiled. "See, without Ethan, there are still a lot of people in the world who love me." Liam and I rode the shuttle bus for half a day to Santa Barbara. Liam had booked a bed and breakfast with 2 small bedrooms. Liam suddenly remembered that he had a course report due and told me to go out and find a favorite restaurant before calling him. Walking on the stone road, the evening breeze is refreshing. Along the street, there were many small stores selling folk jewelry, and I was attracted by a braided bracelet made of lily of the valley flowers, which was just touched by my finger, but was suddenly taken by a person who reached out and took it. "Senior, I like this bracelet," I said. I heard the sound and looked over, and I saw that I was in the wrong place. Isabella was holding up the bracelet and leaning on Ethan's arms. When she saw that it was me, she immediately did her green tea stance and pinched her voice. "Senior, do you like this bracelet too? We really have the same vision." Isabella's whiny voice made my bones crumble, not to mention Ethan. I gathered my jacket. "Don't say that, I never pick up leftovers." Isabella blanched and looked at Ethan accusingly. "What's the matter? Still expect Ethan to stand up for her." Ethan was a bit annoyed. He didn't say much. He settled the bill and pulled Isabella to leave. Isabella, however, stood in front of me stubbornly. The softness of just now no longer existed. Tightly wrinkled eyebrows look overbearing. The rapidity of the change in expression made me wonder if she had learned the traditional art of face changing. "Amanda, it's only natural that the senior chose me. You are pretty, but there are always younger and prettier people than you." "Thank you, I'll take that as a compliment." "You're right, you have to keep a close eye on him, or what if someone younger and prettier snatches him away?" I gave them both a blank stare and quickly walked out the door. The 2 of them were a perfect match, just as unappetizing, and I was no longer in the mood to hang around, so I went back to the BB. Liam was about to go out and was surprised to see me back. "Why are you back? Did you find a favorite restaurant?" He looked at my crumpled face and asked with concern, "Why are you upset?" I tried to squeeze out a smile. I had my eye on a bell orchid bracelet, but someone else bought it before me. Liam probably didn't expect me to be upset over a bracelet and laughed softly. "Is that all you want?" I nodded vigorously. After dinner, Liam and I walked around the streets some more, but I was in a bad mood the whole time and ended up going back to the BB early. I lay in bed and let myself go, forcing myself not to think about Ethan and Isabella being close. There was some noise coming from outside the door, as if Liam had gone out. I don't know how much time had passed, but I was already in a daze and about to fall asleep when I heard another noise from the door. The strangeness of being in a foreign land woke me up with a jolt. "Liam, is that you? Did I wake you?" It really was Liam. I let my heart drop. Liam knocked on the door and walked in. What have you been doing? You're sweating. It was still a bit chilly in Santa Barbara at night, but Liam's shirt was soaked with sweat on his chest. Liam smiled mysteriously and took a bracelet out of his pocket, pulling it over my wrist and carefully tying it on. It was a purple lily-of-the-valley bracelet with 2 pearls dangling from the stamens. Your vision is really unique. I almost ran through the whole town's jewelry store to find such a one. Happy now? I didn't realize he'd run out all night to buy a bracelet just because I said so. I rubbed the bracelet on my wrist. It wasn't the same as the one I had been looking at this afternoon, but I thought it was a million times better. The tip of my nose was a little sore and I tried to control my tears. Liam, thank you. I slept uneasily at night, dreaming of Ethan and Isabella making sweet love to each other, or of a drunken Liam calling me sister with slightly red eyes. The sudden sound of a glass tipping over outside woke me up. Liam? I carefully called out Liam's name and opened the door. Facing the moonlight, I saw Liam sitting on the couch, wiping up a spill on the coffee table. What are you doing? I'm pouring some water to drink. Liam's voice was a little hoarse. I turned on the light and grabbed a towel to help him along, accidentally touching the back of his hand as it rolled. I reached out and touched his head. Liam, you have a fever. I'm going to get you some medicine. I turned to go and Liam pulled my wrist. Don't go. It's too late. It's not safe. I'll sleep and I'll be fine tomorrow. Liam went back to his room and slept without making any more noise, but I kept tossing and turning. Worried about Liam, I gently opened the door to his room. His eyes were closed, and he was sound asleep. I reached out and probed his head. It was even hotter than earlier. Liam, Liam. I couldn't wake him up even with a nudge. It was the middle of the night, and Santa Barbara was not easy to get to, so I had to find a way to cool him down. Luckily, there was a bottle of alcohol in the kitchen, so I grabbed a pad and wiped his forehead and hands, but nothing seemed to work. Hesitantly, I carefully reached for his pajamas. Oh, this kid actually did have 6-pack abs. I blushed a little, squirmed away, and mechanically took the paddle and rubbed his body twice with alcohol. After a few times, Liam's temperature finally dropped a bit, his breathing gradually stabilized, and I leaned back against the side of his bed and slowly closed my eyes in exhaustion. The morning sun shone on my face and I rolled over impatiently, fishing for my pillow and cradling it in my arms. This pillow doesn't feel quite right. I squeezed it a few times. Why is it still hot? The next second, my pillow ran away on its own. I slowly opened my eyes to see Liam quickly roll over from me, wrap himself in the covers and sit at the end of the bed looking at me. He looked nervous, his face was slightly red and he asked me in a muffled voice, "What the hell did you do to me, sis?" That said, what could I do to him? I don't know how I ended up in your bed. I remember sitting on the edge of the bed thinking I'd take care of you a little longer before going back to sleep. I've never heard of me sleepwalking. What about my clothes? Liam pulled back the covers and looked at himself cautiously. I took them off, but I can explain. You had a high fever and I rubbed your body with alcohol. So you touched everything? What? Why does that sound so strange? So what if I did? Liam smiled impishly. You're responsible for me. I'm a virgin. What am I responsible for? Rule number 1 of the male code of ethics, you can't sleep in the same bed with a girl who isn't your girlfriend, so you'll have to be my girlfriend. We slept in the same bed when we were kids. Don't try to blackmail me. You don't want to be responsible, right? I'll have to tell Auntie Chan then. Liam got up and went to touch his iPhone. I grabbed it quickly and smiled resentfully. Liam, let's talk about it. Be my girlfriend or tell Auntie Chan, it's your choice. Liam's too much of a bummer. Is there a difference between those two choices? My mom wanted to pack me up and send me across the street to her house a long time ago. No. I suddenly remembered something. Liam, I have reason to suspect that you carried me to bed with you, after all you got drunk last time and said. What did I say? Damn, I was embarrassed to say that about him. I clutched the corner of my shirt and mumbled the words. You said last time that you had more abs than Ethan and asked me to consider you. Liam suddenly tightened his smile and got serious. So you remembered. And did you consider it? Wasn't that your drunken comment? Liam wrapped the covers around him and squared his shoulders. That wasn't drunken talk. In fact, I wanted to confess to you after the entrance exams. I just didn't expect you to take me on a trip and give me a big surprise. I'm not sure when I fell in love with you. It might have been when I was 5. It might have been when I was 15. I don't want to be a sibling or a brother to you. I've never taken our doll's marriage seriously. Amanda, could you seriously consider me? Liam said in one breath. He was confessing to me. I just didn't expect it to be a scene like this. We were sitting face to face on the bed, him wrapped up in the covers and me tugging at my pajamas. My face burned red up to my neck, my heart was like a roller coaster ride, I couldn't stop it from beating. I'll think about it, I said as I panicked and rolled out of bed, grabbing the door. Liam accompanied me on a few crazy days, and other than my dad, there is probably no better man to treat me than Liam. He treated me so well that I thought it was out of sibling love, but now I realize it was his hidden love. I thought it over carefully and decided to give it a try with Liam. The day I left Santa Barbara, I coincidentally ran into Ethan and Isabella again. Liam was a little surprised, but I was already in waves. Liam looked at me with a concerned sideways glance and gently took my hand. I gently held it back and pulled him onto the shuttle. Ethan and Isabella took the seats in front of us, which I treated as oblivious. I hadn't returned my soul from getting up so early and nodded my head sleepily. Why don't you fall asleep on my shoulder? I nodded and obediently leaned on Liam's shoulder and slept all the way back to school. Ethan suddenly called out behind me as I got out of the car, and I turned my head in confusion. Isabella followed and took his arm affectionately. Eventually he said nothing. Lately Ethan has been very strange and he started to haunt me. He called me and told me that he thought Isabella was too clingy, too delicate, and that I was better, more independent, and never clingy. I thanked him for recognizing me. Is he trying to get back at me? But I'm sorry, I'm now sick to my stomach at the sight of him, and I've quickly hacked his contact information. This day Liam and I were having dinner when my iPhone screen suddenly lit up and an Amazon friend message popped up from Ethan. Han, what are you doing? Liam saw it, and his face turned cold. I opened my iPhone and deleted my friend straight away. Watching Liam poke the broccoli around with a fork, I decided to explain to him. Me and him. Let's eat. Liam pokes a piece of beef and puts it on my plate and buries himself in his food. On the way back I could tell he was upset and was silent the whole way. When we got to the door of the dormitory, he stood in front of me and sighed, Amanda, it's okay if you don't like me, I can let you go and find someone you like, but can you please not be with Ethan, cheating on your wife, there's a first time and then there's a second time, you can't forgive him on a moment of weakness. Liam frowned, educating me like an old father, he's been holding that in all the way I guess. I couldn't help but laugh out loud, I just forgot to delete his Amazon friends, he wanted to beg on his knees to get back together. But sis now he can't afford it anymore. Liam seemed relieved and smiled slightly. And besides, who says I don't like you? I stepped forward and gently wrapped my arms around him, leaning close to whisper in his ear, Liam, I like you a little bit. Liam froze, then bent over and reached out to hug me back deeply, his chin resting on my shoulder. Amanda, don't contact him again, don't make me jealous. Liam softened his voice and pouted, I had never seen him like this before. Was this still my arrogant, high-strung Liam brother? I patted his head gently, like soothing a child, I know. I went home with Liam over winter break and Liam came over to my house every day and my mom gradually saw what was going on. I told her we'd try dating, and my mom was so happy that she had a family dinner that night. I nervously took Liam's hand and received a pleased and excited look from both of my mothers. In their eyes, it probably meant that the CP had come true. I finished the meal with trepidation, and Aunt Lisa pulled me in and slipped a box into my hand before she left. I opened it in front of Liam in the evening, and it was a jade bracelet with a clear green color. This is your family's heirloom, isn't it? It's too valuable, you'd better return it to Aunt Lisa for me. Your family gave me this heirloom, too. But I've never heard of any heirlooms in my family. What heirloom? You. Liam smiled and slipped the bracelet onto my wrist. With my family heirloom on, you can't run away. The days with Liam were simple and happy. When I said I wanted to eat Vietnamese food, he immediately booked a restaurant and asked me to go there with him in the evening. In the afternoon, I was watching a TV show with a carton of ice cream when my mom called. Daughter, is there something wrong with you and Liam? I laughed. Mom, there's nothing wrong with us. I stood on my tiptoes and took him by the shoulders. You're so mean, you don't even tell me when you're in love. Luckily, I'm the one who's here today. If it were Aunt Lisa, you'd be in deep shit. Man May, my mom said, making me confused. How could Liam do such a thing? I'll send you a picture. I clicked on the picture my mom sent and my heart fluttered. He was indeed standing in front of a girl holding a bunch of red roses, and that girl was no one else, it was Emma who he had sent a love letter to. I hung up with my mom perfunctorily, and for a moment my mind was in turmoil. My mind was telling me that it was probably a misunderstanding and that I had to trust Liam. But the truth was in front of me, and I didn't know anything about him and Emma. I thought about it all afternoon and into the evening as we sat in the restaurant. I finally gave in. I grimaced and asked him, "What's going on with you and Emma?" Liam was unsure. "Why do you ask?" "You sent her a love letter, you got talked to by the headmaster, and now as your girlfriend I can't ask you about it." Liam's psychological quality is really good. She didn't panic at all in the face of my question. Instead she smiled and answered me, "The time I was caught by the headmaster, it was because she stepped on her shoelace when she was going down the staircase. I picked her up at the bottom of the staircase, and when the headmaster saw me, he insisted that we hugged each other, and that we had to ask our parents to come to the school. As for the love letter, it's your fault." I felt a little better when I heard him say it was my fault. What did I have to do with him writing love letters to girls? "You made a big deal out of chasing after that Ryan guy, and it pissed me off so much that I asked you to send me a love letter, and not only did you not get mad at me, you happily did it for me, and it almost gave me a heart attack." I couldn't hold back my laughter, and then I grimaced again. "So you delivered the love letter?" I didn't say the envelope was a love letter. It contained the money I owed her for the water I bought the day before. So that was it. They really didn't have anything. My mood immediately changed from cloudy to sunny, but then I thought about today's events. What about today? Why did you give her roses? Liam's expression froze for a moment, then he smiled awkwardly. "You saw me. I wanted to give you a surprise today, to formally confess my love for you. Emma is working as a temp in this restaurant, so I asked her to help me out." He waved at the corner. He waved his hand at the corner, and Emma came out with roses in her arms. She brought the roses into my arms and said sincerely, "Bless you both." Liam got up and stood beside me, looking at me with affection. "Amanda, will you be my girlfriend?" The scent of roses was intoxicating. Liam's hand was warm and strong, and I felt like I had been hit by everything that was good in the world. I answered him firmly, "Liam, I want to be my girlfriend. People come and go, tides come and go, but you are the only one who is destined to be with me."